Okay, so good evening, everyone. And today's session, the TAs will be doing a demo of some of the more difficult issues in Project 2, how to solve it. Um, some of you say you cannot use Vercel to do certain things. They said they have tried it out themselves and it's possible. So they will show how these things are possible. Um, any of the difficult issues or questions, I have a list, in fact, that they have sent me. And let me see here. The list says, just 2 seconds. Okay, I'll let them tell you what. There's a specific list of things that they were going to show you, that they had sent, that they'll try and cover for today. At the moment, for some reason, I'm not able to pull that up. I'm not sure why. Probably this one. Okay, yeah. So the things on the list are GA1 question 3, GA1 question 8, 13, 15, GA2 3 question 3, GA2 question 6, GA2 question 8, GA2 question 10, GA4 question 7, GA4 question 9, GA5 question 3. So those are the most challenging ones that most people have asked about, and so these are the ones that they have decided to showcase for you. Okay, so hopefully that will then resolve any other issues that you guys have. And just as a since we started the recording a little bit later, just as a summary before this recording started, I was mentioning the fact that there is a post available that details out issues with string outputs, whether it's multi-line, whether it's formatting, whether it is Markdown, whether it is JSON, whether it's JSON with spaces, without spaces. This post clearly mentions what we expect. So if you are having trouble with those, figuring out should /n be there, not be there, this post explains all that. So for example, this multi-line has /n's, but guess what? You can't see it because they are invisible, but they are encoded in the string. So they exist, right? It's just that you can't see it because browsers are designed with user friendliness in mind. So they hide them. But it actually exists. And so I've explained in the post how you deal with it. And I also proven that you will get the exact same output that you expect to be able to be used in a GA. Okay. So as long as your output matches what we are showing over here, then you will be fine. So that's all the things that we basically covered before this recording started. Okay. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay. A few more minutes, I suppose. Okay, they'll be ready in a few more minutes. Right. Okay. Any other doubts I can take while they're still doing the setup? By the way, did you guys attempt G7 at all? We'll be releasing the review rubrics. I mentioned them yesterday's session. I think they've been uploaded already, the sessions. So in case you don't understand how the GA7 is going to be evaluated, we'll be sending out some rubrics to you today, tonight. And the explanation for that has been given in yesterday's session. So watch yesterday's session if you want to understand how they work. Okay. So is there anything else we can discuss today? Shalini, Jaiswar, Pradeep, Ritvik, Sakshi.
Yes, sir. So yesterday we spoke about running multiple ngrok tunnels in the free version of of ngrok.
Yeah,
And
except you can't, right? You can't run multiple
we
processes.
can, sir. That's
Oh,
what
you
I.
can.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. If you can, then that's great.
Yes, sir. So, but you cannot directly run it in the sense like, for example, if you're giving the command ngrok http 8000, you cannot run a similar tunnel using the same command. Like in one of the terminals, http 8000 is running, and in another terminal, I try to run 8080 instead of as a new tunnel. It doesn't work that way. So what I am supposed to do is so there's something called a YML file for ngrok. So you create,
Hmm.
and then you specify what are all the different ports that you uh, want to utilize, and then you run a single command with ngrok. So ngrok
Okay. So
all
it's a
the.
Okay. So it's a single tunnel,
Yes,
which
yes,
is, but you got different ports that it listens to.
yes, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, so in other words, it's still what I said is true, right? You can't run multiple tunnels. You can
Correct,
only run one tunnel.
correct, correct. Yes.
Right. Right. So it is one tunnel,
Mm.
but with the different ports that it listens to.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct, sir.
that is possible because then you can run different applications on each port. So that's a good workaround. Yeah. Thanks for that, Shalin. Yeah. So Jaiswar, Pradeep, Ritvik, Sakshi, and Vijaya. Uh, okay, if you guys have nothing to ask, then one thing
Or
I can.
like this GitHub workflows thing, GitHub action thing. So if we already have like a GitHub action which we run, and then we just use that link.
GitHub Actions, can you, what's the question specifically?
GA2 question 7.
Let me see if it's in the list. J2.
If it because it says right has a name that contains your email address, so it's going to be a GitHub action, and the only thing it is going to have is if that parameter is going to remain our email address only, because in
Okay,
the
let me,
in,
let me, let me pull that up.
once we identify the question, we just basically whatever we already have the repo, we just send it back instead of creating anything, right?
Just have a quick look.
More like a check of whether we did the question originally or not.
Yeah, what does the repository look like? Yeah, so yeah, I mean I think this only checks. So let's see, trigger the action, make sure it's the most recent action. Uh, email address. Yeah, you just provide. Yeah, you just create this action beforehand itself and
Okay.
provide the URL so we can check it out. So that's very straightforward, actually.
So this question, it's not parameterized, right, sir? So for a specific student, they get only their email ID.
Yeah, this one will, yeah, it will be your own email ID for this because again, like I said, it won't make any sense for us to look up anyone else's.
Okay. Also, this these questions like the fifth question, sixth question here, right? It is going to have a JSON file which we download and then we process, right?
Yeah, so yeah, we will send you a JSON file for this. Yeah,
So
I
okay,
mean, if the file is parameterized,
okay. Is it parameterized or?
I'm not 100% sure. I think this one might be.
Okay.
Uh, so this one, each person might get a different file because it's a very small file,
Um,
100 imaginary students. I
like the
highly
request,
suspect this is
the
a
request anyway is going to be parameterized, right?
sorry.
The request part because it's in like bluish purple, like
Yeah.
pinkish, right? So,
Not, I mean, not all files are going to be parameterized. The best way to find out is check
uh,
two different, like find another student, ask
uh,
them, can you share me, what your JSON looks like? And if there are differences in them, then it's parameterized.
Okay,
Usually
otherwise,
small files like this will be, because these are fake data sets, right? So
mm-hmm.
I suspect these have been randomly seeded and created on the fly
Mm-hmm.
in most cases.
Okay.
But the big file, which is there's a PDF file, that won't be parameterized. That is, uh, which brings me to another important question. Someone again asked this, even though we addressed this issue. They say, oh, we cannot process a large file. Someone posted, I think this afternoon or morning, I don't remember, this exact same question, saying, oh, we cannot process it, etc., etc., or you cannot pre-process it. But that's not true. The reason being, although the question we may ask you is different, you can pre-process the file itself, right? Because the data in the file is the same. The file data in the file is not going to. The question we ask you about the file may be different. That could be parameterized.
Okay, so this in this particular question, the file will the data will be the same,
This
but
one, I don't know. This one might be parameterized, I think. But I'm talking about there is one where there's like a huge. I don't remember which GA it is. I think it's GA4 or something.
okay.
Right? There's a huge 60 megabyte file or something like that.
Yes,
Uh,
it was about PDFs.
Yeah. So that we are not going to send you a 60 megabyte file. So that we will, the best thing for that GA is you pre-process the PDF file so that you convert it to something very small and efficient, like a CSV or something. And because the data hasn't changed at all, just get the parameters of the question. If it says find, I think it was about students, right? Students from a certain group with a certain subject. Uh, so you can just pre-process that, right? The only parameters that will change is which group and how many marks and all that sort of thing. That's the only thing that will actually change. Nothing else will change in that. So you'll still have to do the calculation, but do it on a pre-processed CSV file, which is going to be like only maybe a megabyte or less. So size is not a problem. Okay. Anything else?
So just to reiterate what you just said about that specific PDF question, because the PDF is same for everyone and just the question is same, I can convert that into a simpler format in my code itself, and and the 60 megabyte file essentially is not going to be given as an input. So
Correct.
I got it. Sir.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't remember which particular GA it was. I think it is 5, right? Or 4.
so the PDF processing question, now.
Yeah. Is
Okay,
it
so
5?
that probably fine.
It was of a GA4.
Oh.
Or
This one, right? Or tables, maybe?
yes, tabular.
Yes, GA4 question 9.
Yeah. So this, I think, this is a huge file, I think, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so here this will be parameterized, whether it's English, whether it's 24, which groups, but the data will not change.
So
This
basically,
won't.
we extract the okay, but the pages and everything in general. So we
Yeah.
have to kind of process it locally.
Yeah, yeah. You'll have to somehow store this information, right? You'll have to decide the storage format. It could, I'll give you an even better example. Instead of
Mm.
storing the file as a CSV, just store it as a data frame, right? In memory.
Yes, that is true.
That also will work, right? And then
Mm.
you can process it exactly the way you want it, because it will
It,
be
it,
a
it,
in memory table, and
yeah,
then just shoot out the answer that you require.
it's a table, right? So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and if we have all the data, we already have all the data because we have extracted on it.
yeah,
Yes, so just
yeah.
have it in data.
Yeah. That would be my approach if I was a student. Simple way to fix that problem. Uh, yes, Pradeep.
Yes, sir. So in GA5 question answer, there is a question about transcription. So do we need to like install those libraries like FFmpeg in the VMs? Because
let me look at the question, because others I can't follow what the issue is.
question
Because
9, question 9.
okay, so here you have to process some audio file and get the transcript, right?
Yes, sir. Between
I
the
remember.
timestamps.
Install and download. Whisper, okay. Um, what's the okay? So this is the question, right? You have to
Yes.
basically transcribe this. So what's the problem?
Sir, when I tried it in the local machine, so I had to install a lot of libraries for doing this transcription. So in the cloud environment, so
Libraries, you
like
only need.
yes,
I mean, you can use one of these, right? Gemini is free, I think. You can just use Gemini.
okay, okay, sir. Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah, just use Gemini and run a sub process with this command, and it'll be done, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And we won't send you a large audio file. It'll be a very tiny audio file.
So the link, the YouTube link would be parameterized, or it would be same for all.
This one, the
Yes.
audio file will be it will be same for all. I'm almost 100% sure about it. No,
Okay, sir.
not almost. I'm 100% sure. We will give everyone the same audio file. It will be a very small file.
Excellent. We just have to return the text.
Correct. It's just the text of the transcript. That's all.
Like, no need to process it.
Yeah, I mean, there is no need to process it. We will send you a tiny file.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. What the file is may be different from this, but it will be a very tiny file, and it will be the same
Please
file for
don't
everyone.
change the question just because I said that it won't change.
Sorry, what was that?
I really like because you are saying that this file won't change, right? If this file is not changing, it's a simple thing. Just get the text and give the return.
I mean,
Otherwise,
my
you have to process.
yeah. See, you will have to process it. Yeah. Okay. It's not that you don't have to process it, but his concern, I think, was he had to get a lot of libraries. My point is, you don't need any libraries, right? You just send an API call with this token, and it will get it. Right?
Yes.
It'll barely take any time because it'll be a very tiny file, first of all. So yeah, no issues with this also. Very easy to do this question. Just give me 1 second, okay? Right. So I can still keep taking questions. They'll be ready in about 5 minutes or so.
What the deployment environment is versatile enough, or like should we really just look into the whole hosting?
Just use whatever you're comfortable with. There's no hard and fast rule. No, at the end of the day, what we see, the goal for Project 2 was we want students to be very comfortable working with APIs because that's what this is, right? It's
Okay.
an exercise in beating you to death with APIs,
Yeah.
effectively. You have to respond to an API. You have to give a response that has an endpoint. Then we will trigger another API.
Hmm.
So it's just why? Because this is the world of data, right? Data interchange occurs over APIs. Unless you're very comfortable with this, you will really struggle out there in the real world. So Anand's goal is to make sure that students walk away from this course
Hmm.
being extremely comfortable with APIs.
Hmm.
Because even if you think about the agentic work, right, forget LLMs, even that is being done through an API, right? So if you're very comfortable with API, you will be able to have different systems interact with each other. That's the goal. Right? If you can get different systems to communicate with each other
Mhm.
via an API, then you have achieved something very valuable. You will be able to build complex systems.
Mhm.
So that's why this is a very important learning tool with regards to dealing with data and how it flows from one system to another. And of course, each system might do a certain transformation, and then that output from that system might go to another system. But again, an API will be involved.
Mhm.
So that's the goal for project two. So I hope you're getting good exercise in this process.
Also collaboration.
Sorry.
Lot of, also the collaboration thing which you said.
Yeah. That's also the other thing he wanted. That's why he gave you said 5 GAs, right? Nearly 60 questions,
Uh,
because then you're forced to work with one another, right?
if
And
people are have proper groups, proper assignment, you do this question, you do this question, you do that
yeah,
question, and that
yeah,
is the
that's
only way it is making sense. Otherwise, pagal ho jate.
yeah. No, great. We're already thinking about next term. So how we can create a truly large project where everyone contributes, does commits, and are part of a project. So we're bashing up some ideas together to do something for next term, which will encourage this sort of collaborative work where everyone contributes something and there is visibility of your work to everyone. So everyone knows, okay, this person is responsible for this component, that person is responsible
The
for
person with the most commits to the common repo gets an internship at Gambler.
that. Yeah, maybe. Okay, why not? You can always ask Anand for sure. So yeah, any other questions?
Are there any more questions where, just like similar to this PDF question, where the file will not be provided as an input, but it has to be present in the code? Will the similar format be followed for any other questions?
You have to find that for yourself, right? I'm not going to tell you exactly every single one, right? That means I'll have to go through all the 58 questions for you. That's your job, right?
I got it, sir. But I think for that PDF question, a friend of mine had like different set of values.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The values will be different because his question is different, but the file is the same, right?
mm,
Yeah. So finding out whether files are different or the same, that you can do with your friend. Both of you sit and look through all the files and see which ones are different. Then you know, okay, these ones they will definitely send, and it's always going to be very tiny files if they are different. And the ones that don't change, we are not going to send you different files. So
got it, sir.
that's how it would work. Let me just check something. You're able to see my GA5 screen at the moment, right?
Yes, sir.
And only that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because I want to pull something up here that might be useful to discuss. So, um, okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Uh, right. Okay. So the other questions, or I can move on to something that. So I can move on to basically discussing about end term while we are waiting on the TAs.
Allow me check the comment.
Sorry, check the comments. Is it? Wonder if someone builds this project with 100% accuracy. Then for next term, this GA 1 to 5 would be redundant. So Pradeep, I have some very bad news for you. TDS every term produces new questions. so, so if you look at last term's
See,
questions,
I
they
may
are
have
not.
to. I literally my computer crashed. My ROE went to shit. Okay, so I
Uh,
will probably be repeating TDS.
Right, right. So you'll get a whole set of new questions. They'll keep everything fresh and interesting, so it won't become boring.
I needed the break, to be honest. Lot of work pressure.
Hmm. Okay, right. So if there's no other questions for the moment, so some what I'll do is I'll go over. Okay, so for end term, we will all 7 modules will be there. Okay, uh, as far as the syllabus is concerned, anything that you've learned along the way from like project 1 and project 2, which again they already covered things that we have already taught, so there shouldn't be any surprises there. So if we go with start here. Um, okay, so things about the browse, things like VS Code and all. Um, we are unlikely to ask you questions about that. Okay. Uh, when it comes to perhaps asking you about uh, what tool you would use to, for example, um, run some packages with dependencies and things of that sort, then you have to be at least familiar that that's what UV does. That's the kind of thing that might be asked, right? Um, NPX, you should be aware that it's a library for JavaScript. Um, Sorry, not library. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's
Run.
a it's a package manager. That's the word, right? It's a package manager for JavaScript, similar like how UV is for Python, right? So these technical words matter in an exam, so just be aware of that. So what a package manager does is, you can get some import some libraries that do certain things, and then run it so that you can produce certain outputs. So that's what package managers do, right? So if you think about in the Python context, because that's what you're most familiar with, you will, for example, get pandas, and then you will run it in your code, and that's a package manager like pip will, or in our case UV, which we prefer, will be what you would use. Unicode encodings, things to be aware of, how these encodings work. Uh, any particular nuggets of information that you find in this video will be is quite possibly helpful in an intern. So my advice: watch the video, understand what encodings are about. Then with browser tools, they might ask you questions pertaining to browser tools, okay? Because it's a fairly important topic. So what they might ask you is like, so be familiar with the whole what do you call it, inspect part of it, where you go to, for example, find cookies, and what's the network tab used for. These kinds of questions can be asked. We won't ask you obscure things like lighthouse and recorder and all won't be asked, but the things that we covered in TDS throughout our sessions, right? The elements, console, sources, network. Performance is mostly to do with how your page loads and things of that sort. But the application, be familiar with what these tabs are and how they work. You will almost certainly get questions uh, in the end term about it. CSS selectors, yes, this is a useful topic to know about. There have been questions in the past dealing with CSS selectors, so be familiar with this. One of the best places to learn it has always been this particular site, right? Basic CSS selectors. And I always tell students that learn everything till at least till combinators, from basic to combinators. Beyond that, we are very unlikely to ask you because that has more to do with styling and things, right? We are
Okay.
more interested in CSS from a data extraction point of view. So anything to do with data extraction, those are the things we will typically ask you in an end. So these four um,
Oh.
would be the most useful things. Someone was saying something?
Just confirming this. Nothing else.
Yeah. So that's typically what would be asked as far as CSS is concerned. JSON again, be familiar with the usual functions, loads, dumps, what they do, when is it appropriate to use them, that sort of thing. What's the structure of a JSON? That's useful in an intern. Almost certainly, there's a high likelihood of a question being asked because it's very important. Just as you obviously know by now, I think you guys, if someone uh, wakes you up in the middle of the night and asks you about JSON, you probably will be able to tell everything about JSON, right? So
JavaScript object notation.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So Bash, there can be some questions, but they will not be very heavy questions in Bash. So anything that we have typically used in the GAs, those are possible candidates for things to be asked. We are not going to expect you to be an expert at Bash. That's not going to be realistic. But simple commands and things of that sort, we may ask you. Okay. Um, again, the scope of that might be similar to what you've seen in the GAs. So nothing too heavy. Spreadsheets. Um, I can't think of any scenario where there may be anything significant asked in spreadsheets, like G sheets. There may be a simple formula that might be asked, something that might have been in a GA, for example. But I would not worry too much in depth about Google Sheets and Excel unless there were things that were specifically asked in a GA. Okay. SQL, um, you might get some basic questions on SQL. The best place to practice this has been, I think I've shared it at the beginning of the term, something called SQL Zoo. You guys are familiar with that, SQL Zoo? If not, it's a very good site. Okay. It has practice examples, so you can try it out yourself. It takes you step by step. You can see the results. So learn the basics. Okay. Again, not expert. They're not expecting you to be an expert. There is some possibility of an SQL question, but not too heavy.
The normal
Git,
English like SQL.
yeah, simple things are possible. Git is important. Understand some of the commands that are specifically like mentioned here, for example. These are all valuable commands, right? Git init, obviously you should know how to clone, um, how to connect to a remote server, how to add, how to push. So those sorts of things are useful, checking the differences between commits. Be reasonably familiar with these sorts of things. Okay? But beyond this, we will not ask. Uh, it's valuable to know at least these main things. That brings us to deployment tools module 2. Um, Markdown, there's unlikely to be any significant question on Markdown specifically. Okay. Um, so,
For the next iteration of TDS, can we have
hmm.
AWS and proper like, hosting and deploying application kind of stuff?
It's constantly in flux, right? So there might we haven't yet decided what's in the next term. We're still working on that at the
Okay,
moment.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Um, image compression. we may ask you about image formats and things of that sort, but I don't think there will be any library related questions with regards to image compression. Okay, that's not likely to be there. So in other words, a question. So just going back real quick there. So an example of a question is, um, what would be a lossless um, um, format, right? You should be able to tell, okay, PNG, WebP, they are lossless compression type formats. So things like that. A vector format might be SVG. These kind of simplistic questions might be asked because they're worth knowing, right? Because image sizes and things of that sort matter a lot when you're transferring data across the web.
Is there a Python or some tool which can upscale images? Like,
Upscaling, I have personally not done much upscaling. The only upscaling I tried was some time ago, and it was I used an AI tool to do that.
okay,
Because nowadays almost all upscaling tools use some leverage some
okay,
AI tool to upscale, right? So that the quality of the upscale is very good.
okay.
Yeah, but uh, I've not engaged in a lot of it. So the answer, I don't know. It's a problem. You can ask Anand. He may be more aware of that. He's quite into images and things these days. So next term there will be a lot of content around AI and image modeling and transformations using AI and things of that sort.
Like, I'm using paid tools for image generation, but yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
scaling would be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So he was very excited about those things. We were supposed to have some of that content this term, but there was not enough time to actually put it on there. So it'll be there for next time. So yeah, static hosting. You should know what you can use for static hosting. So GitHub pages, obviously. Understand the difference between static hosting and something like serverless hosting and all those things would be good to know. Okay. Wait a second. Okay. Then Colab. There's not nothing specifically will be asked about Colab. It's just a tool, right, that you use like an editor basically. Uh, so okay, yeah, Vercel, yeah, to run serverless functions. So we won't ask any complicated question here. Just understand what Vercel is for. So in other words, it's instead of having an entire VM, which takes a lot of resources, right? Well, it's just all it does is when you hit an endpoint, it just runs that function. So it pretends to be a server, but it's not, right? So this write-up is quite good about it. So that kind of question we might ask, right? What is Vercel used for? And then there will be some options, and you have to choose the most appropriate option. So it'll be a very simplistic question, but being familiar with what it is and what it's not is something that's valuable. GitHub Actions. Again, with GitHub Actions, they won't ask you how to code it. Uh, the most likely questions they would ask you would be around what it's used for, when is it appropriate. So they may give you a scenario and they may ask, okay, which of these tools might be most useful to use GitHub Actions for, right? So you should be familiar with that, why you use GitHub Actions. Can someone actually tell me why you use GitHub Actions?
Like, to repetitive stuff and to, like, maybe, for example, if you're deploying something, maybe they can check it for errors and before launching stuff.
Yeah, to basically do some automated actions, right? Almost like a cron job, but for Git. So, in fact, it's running a cron job here. So, one example I can give you is when doing projects, right? one of the things I have a GitHub action is before it commits, I want the version number to change automatically of my project. So version number will usually have a major revision, minor revision, build revision, and a patch revision, right? So if there are small changes to my project, I'll change only the patched version. If it's slightly bigger changes, then it will change the revision version, the build, sorry, the revision version. And if it is entire files that are being added, then it will change the build version like that. So to do automated actions is what you use GitHub Actions for. And then so a question might be, they might give you some scenario and then they might ask you, or they will tell, okay, choose the most appropriate tool to do this. Then you have to be familiar. But they won't ask you how to do it, right? So they won't ask you any syntax related things.
Okay, so how do you decide if something is like a major thing? In number of commits or something?
Yeah. So so there are different ways to do it. You can have various hooks in there that looks at the number of changes you have done. So it automates that for you. So that's what I do. I have a pre-commit hook that it looks at, and in there's some logic I put that allows it to decide whether it's a major, minor, or what it is. Okay. Then Podman and Docker. Here you'll have to be at least familiar with some basic commands of it. Okay, uh, nothing too heavy, just the basics and what their use cases. Tunneling ngrok. Again, what is ngrok used for? That's something that could be asked. I don't think there will be any syntax related question with ngrok, but it will be mainly, like I said, to just identify what ngrok is for. Course is to do with cross origins resource sharing. So can someone tell me why we use course?
Or just something like, for example, there is a site open in my browser, right? I do not want it to access the resources of another site, right?
Mhm.
So that origin has to be like maybe the client's browser, but not some random server also.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, yeah. So that's what, so that's what it is, right? But sometimes in some scenarios, right, you want to allow access for certain things, right? So you can control that using course. So if you say allow origin star, right, that means from anywhere the request can come, right? Whereas you can control it more specifically. You can say, okay, I want it only um, requests that come from this particular domain. Those only I will respond to, right? So course is basically to control which endpoints to respond to.
Maybe the word middleware is reminding me what was there some critical level vulnerability in Next.js. So they had this middleware being bypassed altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course, people will look to exploit these things, usually with JavaScript. All right, I've been told that the TAs are ready, so they'll take over from now, and then we can continue with regards to end-term prep uh, in the upcoming sessions. Okay.
All right, guys, is my screen visible? All right, so let's get started. So what I have done over here is that I have created the project using Fast API and then containerized it using Docker and then published it to Azure, created a virtual machine over there, and then I'm running it on my server. So let me just show you a basic demonstration of this code of this deployment. So here is the okay. So here is the deployed URL present over here. Now this is the main page. This is the slash endpoint. Now let's try to access the uh, let's try to make this file run some tasks, right? So here we have it, and this is our endpoint using the API endpoint. So first of all, let's just check it if it's giving us the right uh, results or not. So for that, it's dot get. Let's check fine, and let's check the JSON response. Let's hope it's right. Yeah. So we are able to get the JSON response correctly. Now let's try and running few not few actually just one task over it. So this is the API point, and let's try running this particular task. It says that download and process the files that Unicode question from GA1. I guess it was GA1 question 18. If I'm not, just have a look at it. Yeah, it's GA1 question number 12. So let's try and run this. Let's hope it succeeds. Fine, we have received something. Generate anything, and still fine. We have got a response. Now let's just check it. Yeah, so we are getting the desired response. So now I will try. Now I will just get into the depths of what we have done and how we have done it. Right. So first of all, this is my project. Let me magnify it a bit. Fine. So this is the project. This over here, I have this is the main file which is running all the operations. So this is the file where I have the fast API code. As you can see, I have enabled chords as well, and these over from this file, I have all these endpoints enabled. Right. So this is the endpoint of let me see. Yeah, here it is. So here is my endpoint, and as you can see that when I'm hitting slash API endpoint, what I am expecting the user to send me, I'm expecting them to send this. I'm expecting them to send a body, a post request. I'm expecting them to send a post request which contains a body, which have two form elements. First is the question element, and the next one is the file element. Right now, uh, so one thing that I want to demonstrate in front of you is that how you can actually read and access the files without even downloading them, right? So without even downloading any file from let's just say if you got so this is the tester. Let me just show you the tester. Yeah. So this is a tester file where I'm actually sending the requests which we will be sending to you. Fine. So we will be sending you. So we will be sending the request in this kind of format where we are giving you the questions and then the files as well. So the file, as you can see, that we'll be opening the file and we will be kind of broadcasting the bytes of that file. Fine. So after, so we will be giving you, we will be giving these two uh, form elements to you. And now, as you can see that I have opened this file over here, fine, and I'm reading reading the bytes and I'm just sending it, fine. But this is from our end, from the end of the TDS backend team. But when it comes to you and in your application, there is no need to actually download the file which we are sending it to you, right? There is no need for that. What you can do instead is that yeah, here it is. So this is the functions file where I have all my functions stored. So as you can see, what I'm exactly doing is I have a function for I have a function for zip extraction and another one for JSON one. So what I'm exactly doing is I am reading these bytes, these incoming bytes directly from the API request rather than downloading the file itself. So what this will help you with is that you won't have to download anything in your Docker container. There won't be any need of that. You just have to read them as bytes. As you can see that this IO library, this is an inbuilt library of Python. Uh, should I say the default library of Python, and you can use this library and this bytes IO function to read these incoming bytes, right? Uh, After that, where I was okay. So over here, we are receiving these files as bytes. Fine. Next, what I'm doing is I am creating. So I have created some embeddings. So these embeddings are being created using the Open API, OpenAI embeddings. As you can see, that this was taught to us. This was taught to you in week 3. And using these embeddings, we are actually computing the similarity of the question that you have received in the API endpoint and the question bank you have already present with you. Fine. So we are generating the matches. So this particular function get matched. As you can see, this is the function. It generates these embeddings and then compares it using coincide similarity and gets the highest value, uh, the highest contender of these questions where with which the asked question belongs to. So if that was hard to understand, let me just annotate it. So this is the question that we are going to ask you guys. Use okay. This is the question that we are going to ask you, and you have an entire question bank ready with you, right? So we have 58 questions, and you have an entire question bank ready with you. Now, in this question, so this particular question which we have asked you, you will be running cosine similarities using embeddings from this question bank, and you will get the question out of this question bank which has the most similarity with this particular question. This particular question. So even if we parameterize, even if we send different parameters in that question, you will be able to the embeddings will be able to find the similarity in the text of that question. That's why using embeddings would be much more beneficial for you. Fine. So this is done, and we are getting the question which has the most similarity with the asked question. And then here we have the match, and then we are running this function. So this is so I have all my functions, as I told you that I have all my functions in this functions.py file. So I'm importing all these functions from in index.py, and then I'm using them using this globals. So this globals is a entire dictionary which you can so this globals contains uh, all the global variables. Just clear this one out. So this global dictionary, it contains uh, all the globally available variables, and you can use them. So you will call the function, and then this will go to the functions part, and it's just the rest of the part is just simple finding out the solution for that. Fine. So this is done, and we just have to, after creating everything, just create a Docker file. Fine. Create a Docker file and create some container ignores as well, because you won't want unwanted stuff to get passed into your uh, Docker container, right? Also create a requirements.txt, keep it precise, and use only the libraries which actually you're going to use in your code. Fine. So because I have worked upon only a few questions, that's why I have a few number of libraries going away, but you guys are going to have perhaps a lot of libraries in this requirements.txt, right? So after that, simply create a Docker container with that, and use use podman build, and it will be created. After that, uh, head back to Azure. Uh, so if you guys are not aware, Azure provides $100 worth of credits to IIT Madras students. So basically, it provides $100 worth of credits to all students who have access to a student uh, email ID. So you can use your IIT Madras ID to avail this resource. So when this is done, so this is I have created multiple. So when I was actually testing with what I can use to deploy my application, I created all these different kinds of things. So what worked finally was a virtual machine. So you simply have to go over here, click on a virtual machine. So this is a virtual machine. You have to click on create as your virtual machine. And over here, now you have to mention, so this is just a basic, which group does this particular virtual machine belongs to, that you can either use an existing one or you can create a new. Fine. Uh, okay. Next, you have to give the name of the virtual machine, any name that you might want. Then select the region. I would suggest you to use a region which is near to India or near to the location where you are currently living. So that would be much better. And so over here, go for Central India, right? And that is good. Next, you have to select which kind of OS you're going to use. That's done. And next, using a password. So using a password would be much more better than using an SSH public key. That's my experience. If you guys feel it comfortable to use an SSH public key, then that's up to you. Fine. Next comes okay. So allow some reports. This is done. Just click on review and create. It will take its sweet time. Okay, few validations have okay. So because I have mentioned the group over here. This is good. Let's create TDS. There. Fine. Central India and availability zone. This is good. Good. It's asking for username as well. For username, you can enter any username, I suppose. Let's enter TDS, and the password can be anything that you want. So, by the way, you have to follow these instructions which have been given to you while creating a password. So let me just create really what it can. Okay, let's go for this. Fine. It's matching. Done. And you are create. Okay. Here you can enter your phone number as well. Is it optional? I guess it's optional. Okay. Next comes create. And let's wait for it. So it has initialized deployment for our resource. Go to resource. Fine. So here we have it. Okay. Here we have it. This is a public IP address. You can use this to access this resource. Now, So, okay. This is my machine button. So in the next, you will have to okay. So next, you actually have to uh, run. You have to use Azure CLI for setting up your resource, using which you can actually send your Docker image or Podman image to Azure, and then it will be able to access it. Okay. Okay, so after typing this AZ uh, space login, so it's going to give you this login ID. So you just have to sign in on this, and you'll be able to get into. Yeah, login successful. That's good. And now, yeah, so we have got it. The It's asking for a number. I guess I will do enter. Fine. So this is done. Look at it again. Okay, so this is on registry. Um, Next, you will have to link this. So Azure login as was successful. Next, we have to actually send a Docker image to Azure, and Docker.
You type
We have uploaded the Docker image. So it's on Docker Hub. So image is over here, and well, to be honest, it's well, so let me just show you. So this was what I was trying for a lot of time, and after a lot of debugging and a lot of after running a lot of commands and what stuff, we were able to successfully get into it. So I will recommend you guys to do this part yourself, because to be honest, it was difficult for me as well. I just kept so I just asked ChatGPT how to just connect Azure with my Podman container. So So login was one of the steps. Next, it asked me to do a lot of other stuffs, but yeah, so here it is. So it will ask you to actually set a subscription ID as well. Get the okay. So here it is. So you have to run this particular command, and so over here you can see that we have to present the resource group. So the resource group which we actually selected while we were creating the VM, and then the VM name and okay. Okay. So running these commands, so there are multiple commands to be honest, and you should use ChatGPT for this. Just ask it what all commands should I run and how should I, you know, connect Azure and uh, my Podman or Docker container. So that's one thing which you can do, and it was a long process. So I will recommend you guys to do it on your own. By the way, guys, any other questions?
So instead of directly deploying the code, we should containerize it and then do it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So containerizing is the best possible way you can actually deploy your application with. So yeah, that's the best way. And moreover, using containers, it will be much more beneficial for you.
How?
Uh-huh.
So just because they are because the size is a lot, right?
The size is a lot, and moreover, let us say if you have to run a Linux command, you have to run some processes. So these containers are a kind of environment of their own. They have their own OS. They have their so they have everything inside them. So when you have to run CD, some kind of sub processes, it will be much more beneficial while you are using containers, because then you will be actually be able to use it. What I did was in the last session, I tried to use GitHub to actually deploy it on Azure, and it failed miserably, to be honest. And that didn't went as intended. So using containers, that would be much more beneficial. The second point can be that Azure, so it actually provides you multiple resources when you're using containers to deploy your application. So you can use the entire CLI to manage your containers and then actually deploy it. So those are some there's some advantages of using containers. Does that answer your question, Ritik?
Yes.
Okay. So, any other questions? Guys, any other questions? Regarding any question you might have, any kind of process that you might want me to demonstrate from this code.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to. Can you go back to the actual code file that you were showing earlier, where you enable
Here it
cars
is.
and
Yeah, yeah. Here it is.
yeah. So I think somewhere here I saw that the output response is like the JSON format: open curly braces, within quotes
Uh-huh.
answer, and then you have your semicolon, and then the
Yeah, here
answer.
it is.
The answer is like in the project two website. So the answer was also like the answer part was also within quotes, but however here it's not like that format.
The answer part was also in quotes.
Yeah,
Just check
yeah,
it. Perhaps that might be the case. Let's have a look at it. Okay, so we have to put the. So this is what you're talking about, right?
yeah.
Our answer should be in quotes. So
Correct.
let's check if we are getting that or not. Okay, so that's not what we are getting. So
Yeah,
okay, that's pretty easy to rectify. And thanks, Shalini, was it?
yeah.
So thanks, Shalini, for pointing it out. Fine. So so this is done, and you can actually change it. You have to give the response as a string. Fine. Any other questions, guys?
Will this work for JSON object also? Will the
Yeah, this
str
will
of
work for JSON object. Uh, the string function might not work for JSON objects. For that, you should use JSON dumps, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
JSON dumps. Yeah,
And can you like demonstrate just for one of the questions that has JSON? So, for example, GA4. Just a second. Yeah, for GA4 question 4, can you just kind of
GA.
work on that question? Yeah, that's like a proper JSON response for that
Just a second.
question.
Just a second.
Yeah,
So you are expecting me to show you how you have to send your JSON response, right?
correct. Yeah.
Fine. So let me run my server locally. Yeah, it's running. And okay. Okay, my server is running, and we are sending this API. Fine. What I will do is, instead of sending this response as an so this it is a name of this. Okay. So instead of sending it like this, I will instead, just for the sake of explanation, I will open a JSON file and send the response. Or we can do one thing, we can create a different function for that. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm not using this one. Let's, yeah, GA4 question 4, just as you suggested. So here this would be, because we have to get the JSON data, JSON loads. Instead of doing that, what I will do is I will just simply open a JSON file. So, yeah, there it is. We'll copy. Done. Okay, not question mapper. This should be data. JSON.loads. Next, we'll be returning the data. And what I will do is I will head back to my answers. Over here, as you can see that we don't have any question which is mapped to this particular function. Over here, right? So as you can see that let me open this one as well, the question mapper one. Yeah, so these were the three questions which I had. Okay, we have one question which is mapped to GA4 question 4. Fine, that's perfect. So we have this particular function, and next we have the question mapped over here as well. So what we have to do is we'll be sending this question, and we won't send any other byte file as well. Fine, we can deal with that. This is done, and the only part which is remaining is to use the tester. It's listening on 127. Yeah, here it is, and this is good. I have to copy it from here. Let me just copy this much, and I'm pretty confident it will be able to identify which version we're talking about. We'll send this, and okay, this is good. Let's run it. Fine. Let's check it. Let's get 500 response. Let's have a look at it. Icon. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get 500 response. Check it. It's sending the question. We're sending the file bytes as well. Okay. There is. Okay. So right here. File bytes. It's reading the file. Okay. File bytes. It's run pretty well for this one. Okay, I guess this is the problem. It's not able to send the str response. Let's check it once again. Again. Instead, let's do one thing. Let's head back to our question once again. Let's check if it's running or not. Yeah, it's running. What we can do is in our functions, let's open this particular file and send the data. Fine. Let's run it once again. Okay, let's check it. There might be some cache. Once again, yeah. Now it should give me the right answer. Okay, what's the issue? It's still listening to that? I don't know. Okay, maybe I found an application. Alright. It's only 180. Still not able to. It's giving up on response. Let's check. It's something. Let's check it. Or else, what we can do is instead of running it on Podman, we can simply run a basic application. It is application. And let's close this and run my basic UV icon. Okay, first of all, let's start with the environment. First, icon index. Fine. It's working. Let's send this. Somehow it's not able to answer. Is it printing TDS? Okay. I believe that something else. File is being was the command for host. Okay. Okay. Got something. Method not allowed. Okay. Isn't post request now? Yeah. Is the method not allowed? Oops. This. Just check. Okay, get is working. Okay, still closed. All right, there's an impression on the file as well. Okay, where the file? Where is I have the file. Mhm. Okay. I found what's the error. So actually, I have to set up a environment uh, variable for my API key. That's what I missed. All right. So now let's give it a try. Okay. So it works. And
Oh, on the VM, like in the container, do you define all the environment variables, or can you give it somewhere else?
yeah, I did provide the environment variables as well. So when you are running the Podman container or the Docker container, you can specify the environment variable there itself.
Okay.
Uh, You build one thing and the other thing breaks. Let's have a look at it. Okay. Embeddings. Let's convert it to list. List. It's import. Number is imported. Let's try running it once again. There is some problem with the embeddings part, which was working pretty fine until now. Oh, JSON. Okay. The users are JSON over here. These changes will. Okay. Let's get there. 500 is not iterable. Okay. Importance. Let's check in this particular file. Is it able to read over there? It's printing TDS after it. Is it going to change? Okay, let's save it. Saved it, but it's not printed. Okay, let's do one thing. I will, instead of implementing it in code, because there is some kind of error I'm not sure about, let me just show you how you will be using it, how you will be sending the response. Fine. First of all, let's import. Where is it? Fine. We have our data, right? So let's say this is the response which my function is generating. Fine. Now, what I can do is I can use JSON dumps, and this will be converted to a string. Fine. This will be converted to a string. Next, what if we do is simply answer should be like this and run it. So this is what we are expecting you to do. You have to, whatever you have, just simply use JSON dumps to convert your entire JSON object to a string. So let me check if I'm right or not. This JSON dump should be a string. Yeah, it's a string. Okay. So you have to use, whenever you have JSON object, I always use JSON dumps to convert it into a string. You can use, I guess, stringify as well. Just give it a try. If dumps doesn't work, well, it should work, but for whatever reason, if it doesn't work, you can use stringify as well. Okay. So does that answer your questions, Alini?
Yeah. I'm sorry to be a little specific, but the answer here, the answer as well as the answer part, both are enclosed within single quotes. That is not a problem, right?
That's not a problem. So on our end, we will be creating an evaluation script where these things won't matter.
Yeah.
If it's a string, if this is a, so we just have to get this particular JSON object where you have an answer as a key and the rest of the response as a string. That's the only thing that we want. Give it uh, just like that, and we'll be able to evaluate it.
Got it. And just another follow-up question. Can you just explain or at least show how JSON loads can be used? I think Carlton spoke about it yesterday, that it would be used for evaluation in case if you get escape line characters or
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. Just a
characters. Yeah.
second. Okay, 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 got it. Just a second.
Because I tried doing it, I was not quite successful. So I thought, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, if I am not wrong, someone posted on Discourse that they were facing some. So they posted about this particular. Okay, it's a GSM. Yeah. So they posted about uh, them receiving those backslashes. Uh, so, yeah, here it is. So this was their response. Let me just copy this entire object. Fine. So this was their response, and you can see that we have multiple backslashes and whatnot over here, right?
Yeah.
Now, simply using a JSON loads should convert it into a JSON object, and it has converted it to a JSON object.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Perhaps you must be using a JSON.load. There is another method which is JSON.load, which is not uh, which I guess it has been depreciated or what, but it doesn't work. So you have to use loads, and for so this is one function, and for converting into a string, you have to use dumps. So there is also another method called dump. So dump won't work. You have to use dumps. I guess both of these have been depreciated for whatever reason. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Tell me. Ask a question.
Yeah, yeah. So Python code or Markdown type of questions, we will have escape character just slash and right. So how will you be taking that and converting?
Yeah, in Markdown and in Python code, you just have to. So if you have created an entire code over there, you just have to convert it into a string. And for that,
F
uh,
string I have used, but it's not been converting correctly while printing.
what is not being converted correctly? Can you please
No,
elaborate on that?
yeah. So for example, we have something like Python code and we are using F string and just printing. It's printing correctly in our
Fine, fine.
console.
Yeah,
But actually, when we get the response, it should be converted as a like string, right? str of value.
yeah,
At the point of time, it's not properly aligned. It's giving the escape characters like
Yeah.
slash and under.
Yeah.
yeah. Escape characters are fine
Yeah.
because when
So
you're
you would
converting,
be yeah.
because when you will be converting a particular chunk of code, Pythonic code, into string, you will get escape characters. That's pretty normal. Even in Markdown, you will be getting these escape characters, so that's expected. And we will be creating the evaluation script, keeping in mind that these escape characters will be there, and converting them into their original format will be our task, our job.
Okay. 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 Fine.
Yeah,
And one more thing in GA4, there is last question is there regarding Markdown PDF to Markdown
just
conversion. There is a question called like prettier question is last question of GA4.
right.
Yeah. So this question we were not able to solve when we had in GA
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
itself. Yeah. So I used like PDF MLU and had some output, but it's not matching. So will this have some leniency in validations, like evaluation?
What I can say is that we very well know that this was not possible using the library which we instructed you to use,
Yeah,
and we it required some manual intervention, right?
yeah.
So we are aware of that, and I can say that some kind of leniency might.
What they were asking in this question?
Yeah, so here I have used the second package, a 4 LM
Mhm.
package, and converted the entire output to Markdown. So, but text is not capturing like table structure and all. So it's not properly aligned. That's what my question was. So how will the validation be?
What I can say is that you must have generated a specific response for this part, right?
Yeah,
You must have the particular answer for this.
yeah.
So what you can do is simply respond with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, fine. That's wrong. If it's wrong or right, that's fine. Just response is needed.
Wrong or right means?
What because there are few like error message I am getting missing table, those and all are getting the error messages when I paste my output.
Hmm.
Okay, so that those things I can ignore, right? Because manual intervention is
No,
for
you
sure.
don't have to ignore. What
Okay,
I will suggest you, you must have the exact answer for this question, right?
yeah.
Where it's passing every test case and it's giving you a bright green correct over there. You
I
must
have
have
the
that answer.
answer for this question, but
Yeah.
PDF will be changing, right?
Uh, the possibility is low
Okay,
that happen. So that's all I can say. The possibility is low.
okay.
So if I would have been at your place, instead of responding with a PDF, instead of responding with a Markdown file which contains a lot of errors, because you'll be using this particular library, I would have responded with the exact correct response.
I have that one in backup. I
Yeah,
can
yeah. So that you
just
can
put
do,
there.
and the possibility is low of this particular PDF changing, so you can play the gamble.
Gamble there. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And on audio files, how we should be figuring out? I am not able to do. I did not figure it out while doing GA5 also. Audio file transcription. How to do
Yeah.
that?
Just a second.
Uh, GA5, it's question number, I think 9.
Question number 9: transcribing a YouTube video.
Yeah, yeah.
For that, I guess we have multiple other libraries. So if I'm not wrong, we have a DLYT library kind of. That's the name of that particular library, and you can simply run it in PowerShell. It will give you the correct transcriptions. In fact, uh, what you can do is you can extract the audio out of it, and that's also possible using uh, a single line command. Extract the audio, use a different use a publicly available API for that to convert it, or yeah, so that would be good. So you can use a publicly available API. There might be some API present over there to convert it. uh, Other than that, if I had this question, I was not able to find any other library, I might have used Selenium for that purpose, because there are some
Okay.
websites which allow you to freely convert these videos or audios into transcriptions, but some are there which yeah, so they allow you to freely convert them when you are using their website, but not using their API endpoints. So if I was not able to find a particular API endpoint which is able to give me transcriptions, I would have used Selenium for that. And I know that Selenium has not been taught to you, but you can just go ahead and look into it. So it's a very basic code. Uh,
Mhm.
well, I will not say it's basic. It's a kind of code that a TDS student can understand, and you will be able to get along with it.
Yeah, but we have to download Selenium and do configurations,
Selenium
right?
is just a Pythonic library.
No, we need Chrome, right?
You need a Chrome driver for that. You have to download the Chrome driver and if I'm
In
not wrong.
Azure, how will we do? That's the key.
Uh-huh.
In Azure, we have to deploy, right? Or some other
In
environment.
that case, I assume that a container, a Docker or Podman container, will be able to take care of that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you can give it a try. You can give it a try using Selenium. Uh,
Okay.
but
Or we can try using some common API
you can
endpoints.
use a common API as well. Let me just check which file we have given to you.
Okay. Actually, I figured I can tell you how I solved this question
Yeah.
in GA5. It's interesting. I just copied this link and
Mhm.
opened and enabled transcription and copied all the text between those two intervals, then pasted it.
Can you please repeat?
I just copied the transcription which automatically enabled in our YouTube itself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With timestamp. I just copied and pasted it. It was working fine.
Yeah, then you can find an alternative for that using some kind of API as well, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only
And
thing I did.
yeah, so you took out the transcriptions on YouTube, right?
Yeah, directly from YouTube.
Yeah,
So
there is
this
a
is
YouTube
YouTube.
library. There is a YouTube library for that. I am not sure about the name, but you can just chat GPT it, and you will be able to find a Pythonic library for that, and you will be able to find a bash command for that as well.
Okay.
So just go ahead and have a look at it.
Okay. Transcription based YouTube.
Yeah, for transcriptions.
Okay. And um, for move file question we had right in GA1 and all. Like we have
Yeah,
to get the batch and hash value
yeah.
and all. So actually, currently my scenario is that I am using Vercel to deploy my app. Okay, I was testing my apps,
Okay.
and I did not use the I was did not use any sub-process modules as of now. But coming to the move file part, I am not able to figure it out how it will work in Vercel or any other deployments because only in local it's working fine. The hash value generation for rest of
Yeah.
the
So
deployment it's
yeah,
not
so
working.
for that you will have to use a process. And have you used a process yet?
Yeah, I have used subprocess and in local it's working fine. But
Yeah.
while deploying to Vercel, subprocess will not work itself right.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
the
think that
yeah.
it will work on Vercel.
Yeah.
And I believe that there is this is a situation where containers come into play.
Yeah.
You can run these kinds of processes in a container instead.
Okay.
Yeah, so I recommend you guys to use containers as a Docker or
Okay.
Podman.
Okay. So for sure we have to use with Azure container those things.
Yeah, that's well defined.
Okay. And one more thing, I let me refer that question. In GA4 itself, we had one question regarding
GA4, yeah.
regarding Git. One question was there, Git actions, and in GA1 also same question, same similar question was there regarding Git itself. So yeah, Git action, eighth
Uh,
question, eighth question, eighth question.
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what did you do?
yeah. So here we have to change our email IDs every time, right? What's been passed or like how it works while evaluation.
Yeah.
So for this
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
I think Carlton said that it will not be parameterized. It will make sense.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
your email is going to be your email.
Yeah,
Okay, so all questions or just this one and another Git question?
yeah.
So
Okay,
they won't parameterize.
for Git questions alone.
Yeah.
Okay, And URL based questions where deployments are happening, that one we can use any URLs, right?
Mm.
For
Yeah.
Yeah.
so can I like deploy a Vercel endpoint and paste it instead of 8,000 or 9,000?
You can what?
Yeah. So for deployment related questions, right, in GA
Yeah, yeah,
towards, yeah.
yeah.
So there we have to paste 8,000, 9,000 ports we have to deploy our app.
Okay.
So instead of that, can I have a program in Vercel that's been running throughout, that is processing, and pass that Vercel endpoint as an answer itself?
That can be done as well. Uh, yeah, that can be done. You can have a virtual application already running, and yeah, this can be done. Kelvin. You can have a virtual application already been deployed, and you can just pass the do.
Yeah, that URL alone will pass here. Anyways, it's going to be query, right? Not just right.
Yeah,
That's why that can be done, right, for all the questions with the URLs.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. And Docker container question, what the solution? Did we have
Docker container.
question number GA2 only?
Need
Those
to
deployment
do, yeah.
questions are, yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
think like
really.
Carlton said in today's session, GA2 question 8. For that particular question, it's going to be our Docker URL, container URL with our image. So that will not change.
So
Is what
Yeah,
only people in this call will get marked for that.
it looks like it.
yeah.
What is
These are
this?
the benefits of attending live sessions.
I am
So which
having
question?
job. What will I do? I am currently working
It
in
is which
parallelly.
question?
I'll attend the meetings too.
Hey, Kelvin, you can collaborate on the common GitHub repos. Na? You can just find some work.
Which one?
There are a lot of things, and I think from Discord people are sharing the groups and.
Okay. I am not aware of that.
By the way, are you guys collaborating on some level? Create this project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little
that's
bit of.
happening. Yeah.
That's pretty good, and that's what we encourage you guys to do as well.
I am just checking that.
Or if there's any other questions,
So one dot in GA2. Can you go to above? There are one more question, I guess. That's regarding grok or something. There was one more endpoint that was different than local endpoint. I don't remember exactly.
the Grok one, was it in GA3?
I don't
The last
remember exactly. Yeah, last question. GA2
question.
or GA1, 2.
Yeah, yeah, in Grok. Yeah.
Yeah, this one I could not figure it out. No way. Like Lamo file is not been
Uh,
even while.
so for this particular question, I think I got the answer. What you do is you download the file and you put it in your working directory, and then from there you run the file name with hyphen hyphen server. So it automatically opens up a localhost port, and through that you simultaneously run another session and tunnel it using ngrok. And if you do this inside a tmux session and then you detach from that session, it continuously keeps running, and you can use whatever forwarding port that you get from your ngrok. You just copy paste that here, and if it's continuously running inside the session, it should work.
So for all we can use the same URL.
Yeah, you can.
So if you have done that
Yeah,
question, I
yeah,
can copy that same thing.
yeah.
Okay, that's great. Great insight. Okay. So that also is solved. I think that's all. Most of the things are sorted. I was spending with URLs only.
Any other questions, guys, or should we wrap up the session?
No questions from my end.
Any other questions, Telvin? Ritvik, Niswar, Vidima?
Not as of now.
We can post and discuss, right? If
Yeah,
any
sure.
other
You
issues
can
come, yeah.
watch and discuss. You guys still have how many days? 5 more days to go. I not 4 more days to go. Student today. So
I have solved only 41 questions
yeah,
till
that's
now.
good, Kelvin, because when considering the probability, uh, you're barely passing about 5 random questions, and considering the probability, so you are well in the safe zone.
Yeah, only using Vercel alone. I have not used any else.
Okay, Kelvin. So
Yeah.
I guess there are no other questions yet. Let's wrap up this session. By the way, Kelvin,
Yeah.
is Versal able to you know work along with all those 44 questions?
Yeah, I used everything using file and all. It was working fine for me.
Oh, well, that's pretty good. You don't have to even use Azure then.
Yeah, that's what. But sub-process question where where rendering of a URL, those type of question, I am not able to figure it out. Also, that PDF plumber question also it will not work in Vercel. That I have to figure it out how to do.
PDF to Lambda?
Yeah,
Okay.
one
Okay.
question related to PDF. That file is changing, right? For sure. Oh,
PDF number one.
yeah.
It can change.
Okay. Yeah, that one I am not able to figure it out. It's a bigger file, PDF
By the way,
plumber. So
was that file parameterized for everyone? Was it different for
just
everyone?
question alone. Just question alone. File is same.
The file is same, but
Yeah.
the probability is low, but it's not nil.
Okay. But we cannot surely tell, right, that file is constant or not. How will we prove that? That's the point.
I think in today's session, Carlton said that that file won't change. You have to load that file directly into the code, and then we should be able to do all of the pre-processing for the file within our code with the data loaded in the code itself, and then only based on based on the question, as in with subjects and the marks filtering that part, right? Only those that part will be parameterized, so the input file will also not be given, was what he was saying. He said that load the entire thing as a CSV or as a data frame inside that particular function and proceed in that manner.
Oh, so India PDF to CSV itself we can convert and save.
Yeah, put it inside the function as pass it as a data itself inside the function. So you just take the question, that last line, right? The line
Okay.
that has the subject and the marks, right?
Okay.
So
That
from,
alone will be
yeah,
given as a question. There is
yeah,
no file itself.
correct. That's what he said.
Saransh, do you know what are the actual questions which will be asked for everything? Because now there are few questions where file is not there. Then how to we handle that?
Which questions are files are not there?
No, now she has informed, right? This question we are not using file itself. Like that, do we have any other questions where file is not being passed itself?
Look, the thing is that we will be creating the evaluation system. So
Okay,
we know what all questions will the students might face problems with.
okay,
So you can expect bit leniency over there.
okay.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I have to.
The tips and hints and intonations we are getting here are very valuable.
Yeah.
um, Okay, and yesterday you mentioned one thing regarding image processing, the GFI 10th question that you will be passing as an HTML and all.
Image
Uh,
passing.
last
The
question, last
image.
question.
Achha,
Yeah,
image as the
Yeah,
reconstructing the image, right?
yeah. But I figured it out a simpler way where we can just copy the paste and question, and it was figuring out correctly.
Where you can.
Just copy paste the question itself directly, and
Uh-huh.
it will automatically extract all the mappings correctly and regenerate a
Okay, so
question.
LLM will be able to do that.
No, manually, just Python. I have not used LLM in my project. That's all.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Just using Python regex, I extracted everything.
Okay, so you were able to arrange these regarding these coordinates, now.
Yeah, correctly itself I could arrange. Just
Yeah, yeah.
slash
So,
b plus I have used.
okay, so that's what's expected. And so considering that how you have to respond with the image, is everything clear on that part, right?
Yeah, that's fine, but input question will be just copy paste this question and passing, or will it have like HTML or Markdown files? That's what I had
Uh,
confusion.
the input portion that we will be sending it to you is in the
Yeah,
API, right?
yeah.
In that case, we will be sending this particular question. I guess we will start it from here. This particular question, and along with that, we'll be sending a file.
So table also will be in the question itself, or like
That's a good question.
that's
Uh,
where the confusion is because you have mentioned it will be in Markdown. I don't know you or Raj. It was mentioned like Markdown. There were after that they were mentioned like HTML. So I got confused itself. How it should be there.
okay. So for that, I guess we will get a markdown for that because last you're talking about yesterday, no? Yesterday session.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for yesterday, Carlton took that session, and
Not yesterday. In Discourse I am speaking. Discourse you mentioned day before yesterday you have posted.
about this, no, I haven't.
Yeah, this question. Anyone else remember
Oh, okay.
regarding
Anyone
this?
else must have done that.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me just open this post once. Yeah. Can you pinpoint at what time that post was made?
Mm. It was 2 days before, like 4 days before that series only.
4 days before.
Yeah, that's yeah that one only. Just below just
This one.
you. No. You just saw that there were two. Scroll down. Yeah, this one. No, just before.
This
Just
one, no? Bound. Actually, no, that's a bounding
no,
box one.
no. Scroll up. I think you saw that one again. Oh, this is 7 days, right? You are going up.
Mm.
Okay. Let me check that. Can you search HTML alone directly? Control F.
Yeah.
That would be easier.
HTML page.
Yeah, that question. No. Third post.
Third, this
Third.
one. Okay,
This,
7 days ago.
yeah, this question there wasn't reply.
Okay, Jivraj has sent a reply. Data file sent to the API will always be requester's local machine. Okay, data file. Okay. The API servers. What is that? Yeah. So file will be given to you as a base64 format. Oh, not a
No,
base.
no,
In binary format. Yeah. Sorry for that. Answer API server.
no. That's not that one. That last one. Last one only. It's reply, right? Last reply only regarding that table.
This one.
It should be
Wait,
1 minute.
let me just confirm it with Japan.
Yeah. I will just check that discuss post itself. 1 minute. I'll just share that post itself. Because for me, it's catching would be easier. Where is that post?
Yeah, tell me. So I confirmed it with Jivraj, and
Okay.
the answer is that this particular table can be given to you as an HTML or as Markdown as well. So you have
Markdown
to
means that's a file or like how it's in
the
question.
Markdown as a Markdown can be a file as well, or it can be given to you as yeah, I guess it will be a file, or
Because
can,
multiple files, how will you give? That's where the point is
yeah, yeah,
confusing
yeah,
for
yeah.
me. That's why I am asking for these questions, can we have something, some go point, how
Some
to solve
go.
this?
Well, what you can do is uh, you can, let's say, if you receive an HTML file, so you can have so you know that either it would be an HTML file or a Markdown file. So you
No,
have
we
to
already have an image file, right? In past
you have
API.
an image file. Along with that,
Uh,
you will get an HTML or a Markdown. So for that, you can use conditions. If there is an HTML content, then you have to shred the file using that. Or if there is a Markdown content, then you can use it. So when it comes to leniency, so that
no,
depends. So
no,
this
no,
question,
not like that. I'm asking.
uh,
We are passing two files in same request, right? That how
yeah.
it will be working. That's what I am asking.
Okay, okay. For two files,
Uh,
let me just check
because
ChatGPT,
we,
and
yeah, because
there
we are
is
having only one file in request, right? As of now.
no, no. That's not a problem. You can send multiple files in a request. Let me have a look at it. Here is a file uploads. Let me ask it. Yeah. So as you can see that to receive multiple files in fast API endpoint, you can modify a function to accept a list of upload file objects. That's also possible. So where is it? Yeah, you can just change it to a list instead, and you can then pass multiple files. As you can see that this is the file list of files that we will be sending it to you in this format.
Okay, so based on this one also we have to understand
Yeah,
our
yeah. So you can send
parent.
multiple files. You can send multiple files in a request. That's not a problem.
Okay, so API should be handling these two, these cases too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay, fine. That's
All right, guys. So if there are no further questions, let's end this session.
Hey,
And
hi.
hi, Harsha. Hi.
Sorry for joining late. Actually, like okay. So,
Yeah.
okay. I just have few questions. So there are like it's like the previous one. The artifacts are two. One is the API URL, and then the Vercel one, and then the other one is the GitHub link. Is that correct?
Well, all these things have been discussed, Harsha.
Oh, yeah, I didn't check the
Yeah.
previous section. I just want to summarize. Is that the two things which we put it in that G form link?
G form.
There was a G form, like Google form link, where we submit the solution. These are the only two things, right?
We are talking about GA7.
No, no, no. In this project,
Uh,
for submission, we should put only these two, right?
okay, 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 okay. For submission, let me have a look. Okay, Git
No, the
repository,
Google
and
form link. The
yeah, this is the
submit.
Google form link, and submit your Git repository URL and your API endpoint URL in this Google form. Yeah. So you have to send your
So
code and the API endpoint, the particular endpoint where you have deployed an application for. So for, let's say, if you have deployed your application on Azure, you have to give your Azure deployment URL.
no, let's consider it's Vercel. So it's still Vercel/API. That is
Yeah,
the link which we have to send,
yeah,
is it?
yeah. So whichever API, whichever URL your Vercel gives you, you have to give over here.
Okay, till/API. Okay, okay,
That's what it's saying.
okay, okay. Um, yeah, that should be it for this. And then second thing is um, that TDS exam, right? Actually, that is similar format to what we had earlier exams, is it? Actually, that
You're talking about NTEM.
end term, yes.
Well, for that, we are currently not sure. And I suppose that Carlton talked a lot about uh, the NTEM exam in the earlier part of this section, earlier session of this section.
Earlier session
Session.
means in this
Yeah.
today's session.
No, this particular session, at the very beginning, he was talking about the NTEM. So you can just give it a watch.
Oh,
Yeah,
today's
he
session.
talked about some stuff, and then he said that in the upcoming week we are going to probably
Yeah,
discuss
so
it.
the thing is that we have to discuss a lot about NTEM on our end, and that few things are fluid, few things are not yet discussed. So that's just another region for us to ponder in. For now, our entire focus is on Project 2, and I suppose that your focus should also be on Project 2 at the moment. Uh, for NTEM, we can discuss it in after this week, the next week.
Okay, okay. Okay, so currently, okay, so only and that is still maybe it will be discussed later. Okay, yeah. So only these two actually, like this one is clear. The project, the API was what I was checking. Okay, till/API. That's all I
Mhm.
wanted. Okay, okay, then that's it actually.
All right,
Thank you,
fine.
thank you so much.
So, all right. So
Take
there was no yeah. So let's end the session, guys.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks a lot for joining. And good night. And all the best for your watching. Bye.
Thanks.